Hey there and welcome! Today we are diving deep into the story of one of the world's most famous and oldest cheeses, Feta. I mean, you know the one, that salty, crumbly, amazing white cheese that just makes you think of a sunny day on a Greek island. But is Feta really just a fantastic topping for your salads? Or is there something more going on here? Is this iconic cheese hiding some pretty powerful health secrets? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So, here's our game plan. We're going to start with Feta's ancient roots. Then we'll break down what's actually inside it, uncover 4 major health benefits, go over some really important warnings, and then we'll give you the final verdict. You ready? Let's do this.
All right, first things first. Feta's history is just as rich and salty as its flavor. So let's talk about what this Mediterranean classic really is. So Feta is a soft cheese that's kept in brine, salt water. That's exactly where it gets that signature salty kick. The real deal is traditionally made from sheep's milk, or sometimes a mix of sheep's and goat's milk. And it's that special blend that gives it that perfect tangy, creamy, and salty flavor we all love.
Okay, so what are you actually getting when you crumble some Feta onto your food? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the nutritional breakdown of a standard 1 ounce, that's about 28 grams serving. In just that little cube of cheese, you're looking at about 76 calories. And it's got a nice balance, with just over 5 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. But honestly, the big story here isn't just these numbers. It's all the amazing little things packed inside. Feta is an absolute powerhouse of micronutrients. For starters, it's loaded with calcium and phosphorus, the dynamic duo for your bones, and we'll talk more about that in a sec. It's also packed with B vitamins like riboflavin, which helps your body make energy. Plus, since it's a fermented food, it's got probiotics, those friendly gut bacteria. And get this, those natural fats in the cheese actually help your body absorb vitamins like A, D, E, and K. That's why Feta on a veggie salad is such a genius combination. So, now let's connect those nutrients to some real-world health benefits. Let's look at 4 ways Feta can actually give your health a little boost. Okay, benefit number 1, and this is a big one, Feta is fantastic for your bones and teeth. And here's why. Feta is just packed with both calcium and phosphorus. Think of them like a dedicated construction crew for your skeleton. This incredible team works together to build up and maintain your bone density, which is absolutely crucial for fighting off things like osteoporosis later in life. Benefit number 2 is a really interesting one. Some evidence suggests Feta might even help out with weight management. The secret here is a type of healthy fat called conjugated linoleic acid, or CLA for short. A few studies have hinted that CLA could help reduce body fat. Now, let me be super clear here. The science on this is still pretty new, and we definitely need more research, but it's a really promising idea. All right, moving on to our third benefit. This one isn't just about what's in Feta, but how it's made. Because it's fermented, Feta can be great for promoting a healthy gut. See, being a fermented food means Feta is a natural source of probiotics, those friendly little bacteria that are so important for our digestion. These guys are basically a support team for your gut. They fill it up with good bacteria, they help strengthen your gut's immune defenses, and some studies even suggest they might help with symptoms of things like IBS. And that brings us to our 4th and final key benefit. Feta can actually help regulate your blood sugar. So how does that work? Well, it all comes down to that great combo of protein and calcium. High-protein foods like Feta slow down digestion, which helps stop those big blood sugar spikes after you eat. And calcium plays a part in that too. This is great for everybody, but it's especially important for helping to manage and prevent type 2 diabetes. Okay, we've talked about all the good stuff. But to be fair, we have to talk about the other side of the coin. And this is where that word moderation becomes so important. The biggest red flag with Feta is, without a doubt, the salt. Just look at this number, 312 milligrams of sodium. And that's in one tiny 1 ounce serving. To put that in perspective, that's about 13% of all the sodium you should have in an entire day packed into just a little cube of cheese. You can see how fast that would add up, right? Because of that high sodium content, there are definitely some people who need to be extra careful with how much Feta they're eating. So listen up, because this is important. You really need to be cautious if any of these apply to you. First, if you have high blood pressure or any kidney problems, that high sodium is not your friend. If you're pregnant, you have to make sure any Feta you eat is made from pasteurized milk to avoid the risk of listeria. Also, there's a specific medication warning. If you take MAOI inhibitors for depression or Parkinson's, a compound in aged cheese can cause a really dangerous spike in blood pressure.
And of course, the obvious one, if you have a milk allergy, Feta is a no-go.
So, after looking at the awesome benefits and the pretty serious warnings, what's the final call on Feta? Where do we land?
The final verdict is actually pretty straightforward. Feta is a super flavorful, nutrient-packed food that can definitely be part of a healthy diet. It brings a lot to the table, both in taste and nutrition. But the key, and you knew this was coming, is moderation. You gotta think of it more like a powerful seasoning, something to enjoy in small amounts, not something to eat a whole block of.
And that really brings us to our last question, and this one's for you to think about. Now that you know its strengths and its weaknesses, how can a little sprinkle of this delicious, ancient cheese fit into your own healthy lifestyle? Thanks for joining me.